if I have an image called as creating an image. For working with images, there are multiple modules. Starting from say pillow. So first a module called as pill came. Pill. So then like pillow came. So pillow is another thing. So both are like almost same. Now most of the people will use pillow because like there used to be another module which was there, but it was not maintained. So now they moved it. So finally, so pillow is one module we have. So how we need to use it, right? So pip install pillow. So there are two modules called as pip and pillow, but like we need to import like a pip pillow only. So if I say in the terminal, pip install pillow. So it is saying like it is already installed. I'm lucky enough. But when you are using, we should use like with a import pill. So that is a confusion for some people. The reason I'm telling that earlier one person used to maintain it. He didn't upgrade further. He didn't give any access to anyone. As everyone need, they created a clone and they started working on it. Sorry, forked and worked on it. So that's why when you're installing, you will install with pillow, but when you're using, you use pill. So if I say like pill, if I ask pill, I need to navigate to this directory, copy path, cd so and so, Python image. It is saying like it is present at some directory in the site packages. See here, any module which was installed will be in the site packages. Now, how to work with this? If I want to create an image, what are the attributes it has? If I go for a typical print of dir of this pill, it has like good number of attributes. So dir is a smaller case. You see now, it has a good number of attributes that you can focus on. You see, so very basically you are seeing, but it has a lot of attributes. So when you are asking directly, it is not showing. Means some modules are designed in such a way that forgets selective imports. So in this module, there are certain attributes which are not present, like image is not there, image draw is there, not there. So in the dir we cannot find, but when you import, it will not throw in error like this. So if execute, so generally if the dir is not showing, it will throw in error, right? But it doesn't throw in error. So that's what the new kinds of modules you are seeing, you should be aware of. So with this, if I want to create an image, whenever I want to create an image, I can create an image of a particular color or a particular way differently. So observe carefully. I am creating one image. Whenever I create an image, first I need to give the mode, whether it is a color image or like black and white. So mode means RGB means red, green, blue. Sir, in the world there are many colors. So why people consider RBG? Because these are the strong colors. So that's why if you go for traffic signals also, you will find these colors only. So mainly are like any other places. And any color can be created with a different combinations of this. Means 10% of one color and 20% of another color can combine and create another new color. So like that, these were the basic colors. What are the color images you are seeing on a TV or like a monitor? So everything will were created like this. And what is the dimension? What is the size? So length by width, right? We want. And what is the color? So it's an RBG image of this color you are generating. Now if I see the image, so print the image, IMG I created. Now if I clear the screen and ask again, did you see it created an object? But in the current directory, did you notice there is no file? Yes. So we need to now create this file and save somewhere. So as a best practice, what I will do, in this folder, I am creating multiple files. I will create something like a images folder. So something like a images, and I will place within it. So instead of I placing it, if I ensure that for the first time, it should be there. How do you create a file and make it sure? So we can do like, import OS. What is that we can do? So initial itself, OS dot make DRS of images. And if the file is already present, don't throw any error. Means exit OK is equal to true. Then if the file is not present, folder, it will create it. If not, it will stay calm. So now this image, when you're printing, it will just image like this. It makes no sense, but we should save it. So for the image, if you do dot save, I can take in the current directory or in the current directory within the images. So maybe like I want to say like pillred dot png. So I can store different file formats. In terms of images, there is like a PNG, portable network graphics. This is the most common file format we use. And the other common format is JPEG or JPG. So PNG and JPG are the most common things. But even Windows has something called as BNP, means binary format. So mostly wherever you go, you will see PNG only. Means it is good for portability. So that's the main thing. If I create now, clear the screen and create it. You see now in the ls, did you see a new folder called as K? And within that folder, you have the images. Now, if I open, you can see a new image. So you created image of some dimension. You gave a color and width, and you told it should be red color. It gave it. So that's how it created. Now let's mature a step by step and create more further images. So now let me create one more image. So this time I will mature it a bit. So what I am asking, this time RBG, I am giving so and so. In earlier, I gave purely red or purely blue, one color. This time I am saying 10 so and so means there are like totally three colors, right? Red, blue, and green. How much percentage you want? Basically, every color will have like 0 to 255. So that is the standard thing. So 0 through 255 means totally 256 will be there. So like that. So for every color, so how much you want? If you give complete 256, so 255, the complete color you want. But like if you are giving 10 means only 10 part. Just imagine like how much percentage you will get. And now I am saving. Say like I am saying like images slash so and so. Now, if you notice, clear screen, Python 02 so and so. You can notice a new image called as image pill color. You gave like a new color. So I didn't give an absolute color. I gave some values. So I gave a different dimension. Earlier, if you observe, so this size is more. That's why it came horizontal, right? So this time, like this size is more. That's why it came vertical. So like that, you need to understand when you are creating. Next, after this, to say, if you want an image with some text, so that also can be created. For creating an image with text, first we need to create an image, and for that we need to draw the text. So first I created an image, same like in the previous, RBG mode. So I gave the size and how much color of each of them. Then using this I am doing image draw. Image draw means first it will create the image, means it will draw. And after drawing that image, if you write a text, what should be the fill color? The filling color means with what color I want to save. That also I'm mentioning. And here result also I want to show like this. Python 03 so and so. So in this case, why I did a draw before saving? Because I want to write a text. So now if I see fill with text, did you see? The size is very less. Within that you have it. Because I didn't give too much big numbers, right? It's just like 30. If I update it like, some, 300, 100 and 300, if I upgrade it, you can notice it. You see? So 300 height was increased. No, sir, I don't want to increase the height. I want to increase the width. So then increase, let the height be like this. So this one you want to increase. So maybe like you want to increase to 400. You can see, so increased. Maybe this one you want to further less, you can specify. So whatever you want to play, you can do it. And finally you will get that. Next, okay, image you have. So you have some text. But at the same time, you want the image text should have some format. So sorry, some font. Have you heard about different kinds of fonts? So font means the shape in which they are coming. So the text, though it is English, how it is coming will be different in different things. So if you want a particular font to come, you need to have that fonts added. So first of all, to understand more about these fonts, we have something website called as fonts. If you go there, it will give the W fonts. Like that, there are many other sites also. You can find any font that you are interested. Let's say you are interested in Arial format or like so and so. Then you can click on that font, which are the font you want, and you can download that file. So that file, if you have this Arial.font, I have already downloaded and saved it. So you can download that file and save it. So first, I have saved that file locally and I am pasting it as it is. So primarily, you cannot understand this file. So .ttf means in the real world, there are many file formats. Some of them we don't even work. Maybe if you are working on embedded systems, you will work with some kind of customized file formats. So don't think that you want to learn all the file formats in the world. But what is more important to you, that learn. But over a period of time, any of yours, you will be supposed to learn the remaining. So using this, how I can draw. So first, what I will do. So earlier, how to create an image, image draw means if you want to add a text, first image should be drawn. And for the image font, we have something else. So in the stage one, first I will create the image. So I will give the mode, size, and color. Then after that, I will pass that, hey, I want to get the font. In the current directory, I have this font, this Arial dot so and so. I have a font. The same thing I wrote it, Arial. So now I need to create a draw an image and add the text. So I need to add the image and draw a text. If you see the previous example also, we have the exact same example, but we didn't give this font in the previous case. But in this case, we are giving the font. We are specifying that the true type of this type I want and this size you want. That's what you're saying. The font size you are mentioning, all of that information. And finally, after doing that, so you want to save the result. Say like in the images slash, I want to store clear Python 04 so and so. What is saying? OS error. So cannot open resource. Means something, that file got corrupted or something happened. Because like I copy pasted, right? Maybe in that case, things happen something. So, but generally it should work. So this time what you will do is like you can just go and download from it and directly get from there. So give it a try, it works. And in the same way, the same example can also be done alternatively. So how we can do is like in the same fashion, you can add like this. So only difference is that first I'm creating the file and after that I'm drawing the file, same like that. And we have created a font and that font you are adding. So, but like here, the point is separately, means the same image and all these things you are adding separately like this. So like this also, you can create the same image. Maybe like I will mention here it as image2, img2, and so and so. So img2, it should work. So I am thinking that it got corrupted. Due to that only things are not working. So else should work. So and so it is going to the exact file and getting right. So let me try this one at least. Oh, I uncommented this one. You see the same thing. So it got corrupted basically when I copy pasted. So that's why sometimes It's better not to copy paste rather than pull that image directly. If I can do that, let me give it a try. So import that image if I can. Yeah, no, I don't think so. So fine. After this, not only this font, we can do further things also. Means after this font, we have resizing the images. If we have some image, we can resize that image. So what that we can do, image resize. So this is most important. So whenever you are working in real time, this is most important. So maybe like I will take some common images I have, and I will pull them images and get it. I have now all the images pulled like cameraman. Now I want to resize this image and I want to store. So let's see how to do. First, if you want to resize the images, so the same process we need to take, but we need to work on the original image. Maybe right, I will create a small script for working on it using it. You see now, I took a so function such that we can reuse it. In this function, I am taking the original image. What are the image path we give, which is the images slash cameraman. Now I want to create an output, and what is the size I want? I am giving. So that kind of resize. So means it's not just shrinking or increasing. It can be anything either way. If your original size is less than that, it will try to increase it. So if it is greater, it tries to reduce. So how it actually works, sir? Means that concept is called as interpolation. Means if there are two pixels, here there is a 1 and here there is a 1. And if I need to make a big large size, then obviously in middle also I will add one more column and add 1, right? So that is called as interpolation. Or like if there are values gradually changing, so it will make a medium value. So like that, the so values will be interpolated, means added in middle. If at all reducing means it's very easy. So alternatively removing or every second or third, like that it will reduce. So first what they are taking, if they are taking the image, and that image, what are the existing sizes we are taking. So after getting the original sizes, so we are doing a resize to the size that we have mentioned, that new size. So if I give that new size, it will resize to that. Maybe like I'll make like a new size for easy for us to understand. It will try to resize to that new size. And now the latest sizes it will get. So, and for that image, there is an option called as dot show also. So till now we didn't see an image. Generally, if it is an ordinary system, we can get a pop-up also. But it's not an ordinary system, right? So it's a terminal space. So we should get it. So what it is saying right now, what is the, hey, you passed like here new size. Here you wrote like size, it is saying. If I change it, it works. So this is called as linting. Means like without even executing the code, it is giving a suggestion, right, for me. That is called as static code analysis. Okay. Next, how to execute this file? Same Python 05 sensor. And it is showing, in fact, we cannot see it here, but if you do in your local system, it will show it. So this image.show will show to the out, it will do a pop-up. At the same time, it is showing the placing the results. Same like camera, it is saying camera.small, right? So it is trying to shrink it. So if you give different dimensions and observe the difference, how it is resizing and all. At the same time, so in this same like resizing a file, we have like there is one more thing called as cropping. So resize is different from cropping. One second. So cropping the image means what? It is nothing to do with size. Cropping means the difference I will tell. Resize will so change the size, but the entire image will be the same. So nothing will be lost. But when you are going for a cropping, you will lose some of the information. So if you see the original image like camera, it is like this. In the small version also, the same thing, nothing was lost, but the dimensions were changed. At the same time, if I go for like cropping the image, I will have a source image like strawberry. So if you see the strawberries are like this. Now if I am doing for cropping, you can observe that Python um, 06 so and so. Python 06 so and so. If you see, it created a new image called as cropped. Now did you see what happened? Seems like it is a very small size. You don't see? It is creating the image. Don't know, it is not showing. Maybe it became small or something, I don't know. But locally it should work. If I give like some accent coordinates, it will work. So image.crop means what are the image you have? That image you need to crop. Maybe like I will do a dot save, place it outside. Sure. You can see it will do, and I'm asking to shave because like a show will not help me here. If I ask, no, it's of no use. So crop means like to reduce the size. That's the main thing. And similarly, if you want to scale the size, different sizes if you want, for that also we have it. So whenever you have like different sizes, I wrote a logic. Whenever you have free time, just walk through it. So I have a butterfly scaled 06. If I see, it is saying that okay, okay, now it's saying. So it is creating new version. If you see the butterfly scaled, observe carefully. So original butterfly is like this. So the butterfly was scaled like this. That's a difference. And similarly, if you want to like, rotate an image. So this is also needed sometimes as part of our automations. So whenever you want to like rotate an image, that is also possible. You see, there are different kinds of rotations. In fact, we cannot see the images rotations right now. I can do a save. That's the best way. So instead of doing a show, I can do a save. Save like, say in the same images, say strawberries. Oh, anyhow, it is the original image, right? I need not save it. It will do as it is. But the results I will show the remaining. Save of images slash the same strawberries 45 degrees. 45 degrees. So similarly, I will do the same thing. So this is like 45 degrees. This is like 90 degrees. Because we cannot show here. But if you locally in your system, if you do, it should work. If I create some image like this now, you can observe clear Python 07. It is saying, oh, it is saying unknown file extension. I need to do .zip png, right, for everything. .png. Say .png. So it has created. The original strawberry is this one. Now the 45 degrees, did you see how it changed? Now next 180 degrees, so sorry, 90 degrees. Did you see? Next 180 degrees, did you see it was completely rotated? So compared to this original, the hands are up. So person is up. Similarly, 180 degrees became down. So like that, we can change the image categories and everything. So this is all about the image rotation. Next, in the same lines, we can also go with edge detection. So whenever you are working, okay. Next, coming to the case of edge detection, especially nowadays, whenever you are seeing the examples like Teams call. In a Teams call, when you change the background, how it is happening? It is detecting our edges. That's why till where the human being is there, it will show as it is. The remaining part, it will show a different background. So in the same fashion, here also we can do the edge detection. So if you have like a edge, so we can detect it. So if I have like a image dot strawberry, so from that, if you want to detect the edges from the original image, if you need to convert of L. So L is like for that to detect the edges. So we need to pass to some filters. There are different kinds of filters. So, but if I go in advanced, but the basic thing is like the find edges is one of the filter. I pass it to that edges filter and it can show. And if I do like a contrast or like, so based upon the edges, if you want to do some operations, you can do it. So maybe like, same like in the previous example, I want to do something. So I can save here because showing will not work for us, right? In this case, as we are in this environment. So we can do a save. So original image, there is no point of saving again because it's already original image. So, but for others, we can do a save. So what we can do, this edge detect dot save of, maybe like edge detect dot png I'm writing. So similarly, so in the same lines, I can do the same thing for a contrast. So contrast image, maybe I'll save with the same name called as contrast. And similarly for the same thing, bright image dot show. For the bright image also, I will show like this. Now, if I say Python 08 so and so, it will create now the different images. Observe carefully. So first we have our original strawberries. Strawberries you saw, this is our original image, everything is good. Now this image, how they are changing, see. So first we go for the edge detection. In the edge detection, if I see edge detect, so means like some images, I don't know why they are not showing, but they are there. So, or like bright image, you see, yeah. So image is bright enough. So, and the same time, like, so contrast image. So this is how you do, right? So contrast and all these things based upon the edges. Edge doesn't mean at the side. Edge can be everything is an edge. If you observe every image, you say image is best because of based upon edges only. If you observe carefully, and it will take a lot of memory to store the edges itself. If you have remember what you have studied in the image processing, so edges store a lot of memory because they were like a sudden change, right? High frequency. So it will be taking a lot of time memory there itself for storing edges. So that's why edges are more important whenever you are working. Next, going further, in the same fashion, like edges, we have like pixel management. Pixel management means the total, everything is a pixel. Pixel means what? The minimum unit of the image is called as a pixel. So if I take like a strawberries, in the strawberries, if you see, say like the strawberries, yeah. Did you see when I'm zooming up, zooming up, zooming up, you are getting like each one, right? So how many pixels? If I go detail, did you see? You are getting like square only. And you see every square is having one color. That color is unique. So means that is a number. Is it pure red, pure black? No. It's a combination, RBG. Every pixel will have three values. What is the R value? What is the B? What is the G? So in terms of 0 to 255, what is that? A different combinations will result different color. And you see every point has a different colors. So that is called as a pixel. Now this pixel management we do. So maybe like instead of showing, I will save the result like save of under the images slash maybe like so result.png I'm doing. Now if you see Python 09 so and so, so it is saying like, oh, under the images it should get, right, images slash. So whenever you are getting a error, you should be understanding what could be the reason. So this is the original strawberry. We know that strawberry how we are doing. You see, this is a pixel management we are doing. How we are doing this? Now let me go to the process. So first I am going to each of the thing. First I am getting the original size. So I have a width and a height, and I'm going to each of the width and height, and I'm getting the pixel. So basically it is rows and columns only, right? So like that I'm getting each of the pixel coordinate. I am getting this alpha beta value, and from that I am negating, means reverse. Generally 0 to 255 it will write. In the 255 if you give some number, I am reversing it. So if it is a value of 10, 255 minus 10 means reverse. So earlier it used to be very less, becomes very big. So wherever the image has like less colors become bright, bright colors become less, like that. So that reverse I did. It is one kind of pixel management. You can do your own operation like this. So after getting it, I am trying to do is like a put pixels. So what are the result is there, it will store like that. Similarly, if you do the same thing for a another image, like say camera, so that also same thing happens. You can take this camera image and you can do images slash so clear. So it is doing like cannot unpack non-iterable int objects. So means like it is like not correct. So something happened here. And similarly, so changing the desktop background. I created a small program for creating the changing background. So it actually works perfectly in my system. In Windows system, to work with this kind of things, there is something called as C types. This is another module. What I did is like in the current file, current directory, and this image is like this, cameraman, and I'm doing a setting the background. So for setting the background, this is what we need to do. The C types dot win so and so like this. Now, in your Windows system also, you can give it the same try. Now the point is, this works perfect. Assignment, so would be like you have a three or four images, make it so locally, and those images should be continuously changed for every 30 seconds. So take so 10 colors. First generate these things. First generate 10 color images. Here I told, right, using RBG you can create. So and change the desktop background for every 30 seconds among them. So among the given images, you need to change the desktop background. So that is the point. So hope you can do this. So fine. So like this we can do. There is a lot of other examples also. You can in fact work on. There is other thing called as OCR. So OCR means optical character recognition. So I'm just giving like one example just to help you, like OCR. OCR means optical character recognition. If I say OCR, so image, so optical character recognition. There are many sites, right? If you see image to text, if I give any image, it can generate a text. So for that OCR, you see, you create any file you give, it will get the text out of the image. So OCR, this is a very good market, in fact. So using Python, there is something called as PyTesseract. So Python Tesseract is the one of the module. So it can do, if you go to the Python Tesseract, this will do the optical character recognition. You give the entire path, it will convert like that. Just have a walk on it, so you'll understand a lot. Give a try, there is nothing wrong. So if you take some image and we need to do, just imagine we have one image, right? We created filled with text. We have this image. So let us parse this image to understand and get this text. So that's the main motto. To work with this OCR, means optical character recognition, first we need to install this module. So I can do like a pip install PyTesseract. So PyTesseract is a third party which we need to install. Once installed, we can work with it. So I can import PyTesseract and ask like what are the attributes of it, dir of this one. So if I say Python 11, you can see that it has a lot of attributes. In fact, see, so image recognition, what is saying? Image to OSD, image to data, image to PDF, say image to string. So like that it can convert to different things. So now I have one image. That image file I need to give. So maybe like image file I will take. So image file is equal to, in the current directory, I need to navigate to this or give the entire file directory as you wish. If I take this image, which we just created, means we are making use of our files only rather than asking from some other. Now from this, I need to first load it. Whether can it load from a relative path, that I need to check first. Create. So Python 11 so and so. It is saying like image is not defined. Super. So means from will import so image. Okay. So anytime when you're doing absolute imports first, then followed by selective imports. So clear. If I do again, so I didn't throw any error to me, means it is good. Now after reading this image, now I need to work. So for extracting the text out of it, I need to pass like this. What I did? So text is equal to pytextract dot image to string. So I got a text. Now this text I need to print it. So printing the text. It is saying what? Pytextract is not installed in your path. So sometimes this kind of issues happens with the third parties. So no such file or directory tesseract. Maybe like it needs some kind of configuration that we need to see. But earlier it used to work. So I didn't understand the exact problem. So it is out of our scope. But just I'm telling that this is a very good module. Down the line, if you want to learn, so it would be really helpful. Next, so after this images, there is something on the sound files. Sound means you also can create a sound. So for the sound creation, so there are different modules to work on it. So sound demo. If you want to create the sound, there are different modules. If you do, for the most important thing is the SciPy module. In the SciPy module, we have like, so read and write using the waveform. So using that, we can create to some extent anything that you want. Yeah. So in this example, to work on it, first we need to use this SciPy module to work. But if you want to create a large data, you cannot directly create. You need to work on a third party or something like a NumPy or something for get. So generally, image means it's okay, but video audio means like it's a single dimensional. More data need to be there in one place. So for that, first we need to create this file. So let me create it. Yeah. So using NumPy, I am working because NumPy will create a large data set. So it's easy. So whenever you are creating a audio, you need to know the sampling rate, at what rate you are doing, how much duration you want, that thing you do. And why I took like NumPy, because NumPy has something called as line space. You don't know at this moment, but in go for NumPy, I will tell. So till now, if you go to interact mode, you know that, so if I go for range of like say 0 to 10, it will give the values 0 to 10. Means if you convert to a list, you can observe that 0 to 10 values are coming. But if I give like 0 to 2 with a step of 2, means you are fixing the limits and what is the increment. But can you fix like how many values you want? So that is the problem with range. Range will generate the values, but it cannot generate like this. Whereas if you go for a NumPy, so I don't know whether NumPy was already installed. NP, yeah, super, it is installed. So np dot line space, np dot line space. So for the line space, if I give like 0 to 10, so with 5 values. So 0 to 10, 5. Oh, line space. Okay, I wrote a mistake. It's not line space, line space. Now did you see what happened? Between 0 to 5, I told that I want 5 values. Then it decided what should be the interval between them and it gave it. Or if I say like I want 7 values, it decides like how much to be interval to get 7 values. If I say like I want 9 values, it will decide what should be the limit and it will give. And if I say 10 values, did you see how you got? Means you are not specifying the so width, means like the distance between them, but you are specifying the things. Some cases we need this kind of eco environment, so there we can go for line space, especially when you are generating a audio. You need this one. So if you see now Python, I need to navigate to this directory. So cd, so b so and so, so Python sound demo. Now, did you see a new file called as Soundwave was created, but not. Could you see that? So this is one image. So, example. Similarly, if I go for the second example.py. So in fact, you can create any image like a sinusoidal wave. So here in the first stage, I gave like an ordinary thing, right? Now take an, so you see here, it is a sine wave. So you give like different things, cosine wave. So means first you are generating these many values. So for each of the value you are passing sine. Sine means it's like a continuous up and down, right? Stream. Then like you give a cosine, then you give a tan. See like how it is working. So that is assignment for you. Apply all trigonometric functions on this audio and generate dot wave files. And also when you're working with images also there are different file formats. Dot wave is very simple, but there are like mp4, mp3 and others, right? So that in the same way here also. Next, so in the images also to work on it, I have created a complex example to show. So I pulled this example from the story. You can just walk through there. So they have a very complex things which are working. But if you are working in the sound waves, you can go there. They gave like a very clear idea in terms of what is the sound waves, how they can be useful and other things. If I execute that, so that's a very simple example. If you observe clearly, you'll understand. So I think like somewhere the file is missing, it is saying. Means a raw file it is expecting. But fine, this it is having like ready-made things. Whenever you want to create a sawtooth wave, so sinusoidal wave. If you are aware of the sawtooth wave, so that's very interesting. But though I'm going out of bounds, I'm just trying to help you understand this. Next, after these image files and this one, there is also the video files. In the video files, you can also process the video files or you can also create the video files. Processing means you can either download the YouTube files. So if you want to work with YouTube, there is something called as a PyTube. Using PyTube module, you can work. So there are here also there are something like YouTube DL and PyTube. There are many things are there. So if I give some video link, so it will go and download it. So which are the thing I can give? So PyTube. If I say like PyTube, so you can go and search for it. So PyTube. So it's a Python module. How to work on it? I'm showing. So we need to install it and we need to work. So PyTube. Pip install PyTube. If you do, you can download it. So I don't want to download an image, but just I'm showing you. So here it would be bulky. Or like if you want to trim it. So if you have an image already, sorry, video. So generally I use this for like my trainings. So for the trimmings and others, I used it. So if you have something, there is something called as MoviePy. So MoviePy is for like all kinds of editings on the videos. So how much clip, subclip if I want, all that information I can pass and it can create it. I need to give a source image and it will create it from there. And similarly, if you want to work anything, it can work. Maybe like if you want to join multiple videos. So these are the examples which I am doing using locally on a daily basis for working with the different videos. So in fact, this is the exact example I use. If you observe carefully, though you don't have, I am taking one location. So in that location, I have some files. So those files I am joining first. See, I am creating the base directory and this file, entire path I am doing. All the paths I am passing to this video file clip. So under the movie editor, there is something called as video file clip. All the video file clips, I am concatenating these video things. And finally, I'm dumping. And in the process, if I want to speed the things, I can do like a speed factor. Means our video will be very fast. So like that, I can do all. So that's the beauty of video editor if you want to work. Next, apart from that, there is another three types of file formats for the zipping. After this multimedia, there is a zip file formats. 04. Zipping is like it's common zipping files, so for us to understand. But in fact, zipping files are also different formats. So there are like something like a GZip files, and we have like tar files, and we have like zip files. So these are like most common, but still there are like many others. So if I can go with one example on each, it's easy. From if I go for like a GZip, to work on GZip files, first we go GZip. This is the most common file format, so we will use. And if you see here, GZip also called as gunzip. So don't think like there will be guns here. I don't know like why they told. Maybe like a gun, it will do fastly. So that's how they created. I don't know. So in this, so there are different file modes when you're creating. Hope you remember when you are working with so pickle module also I showed it. So read, write, append, and in the process when there are binary files, you need to. And did you see there are new things called as X, means executables. So whenever you're in line X, you have this extra thing. Similarly, when you have a text file formats, there also you can do. So okay, what is this GZip? What we can work with it? So should we install it? No, it will come by default and you can work. So if I can navigate out of it, cd clear. Um, 04, yeah, in that GZip, yeah, Python async. So did you see what happened? Function can read and write zip files. The user of the file doesn't have to worry about the compression, but random access is not allowed. Means like this is the documentation. Means you will be given the so compressed file. That's what it's saying. Now, if you want to compress a file, so whether you have a compress and save the original data, so how we will do? First, I will have some data which I need to save. So let me comment this line. Okay, you see, I have first some data. So the data is in a binary format. I placed a B, right? So now when I'm saving the file, first I need to take it with open off. It will not store like a string. It is GZip means like for a this one only. And what are the file format you want to do? Test dot. It is a text file because there is nothing simple. Dot GZip. It's like a double extension. And you want to store with WB because it's a binary data as file handler. And within this file handler, dot write of So the original data. So if I do like this, now you wrote it. So if I execute Python a so and so, it will create. So if I say ls, you have it. If I say at this test dot so and so, did you see? Batteries included like this you are getting. Or if you open here also, you will have this GZip file. Because it's a text GZip, you are seeing directly. So others you cannot see directly, right? So similarly, if you want to retrieve the data, again, as we stored in a binary file, right? In the same fashion, we need to do. So when I'm requiring, so I need to pass like this. I have original data. So gzip of text.gzip. So when you're reading also, it's a binary. I read that data and I work on it. Clear? So Python A so and so. So did you see what is saying? Not a zip file B so and so. Means somewhere it has gone bad. So in line reading. So whenever you have read the data, it is throwing an error. Not a gzip file. Bad zip file issue. Somewhere when you are doing a retry, so it had. So it is working. First it has taken the original data and printed it, and now you got a decrypted data. So where it is failing, if you see line 25, so this is the line 25 when it is reading. What is the problem for it to read this text data? It should read, right? If I take it, so clear, so Python, don't know what could be the reason. So not a gzip file, not a gzip file. So I need to understand. Let me write a breakpoint. This is how I will also do, same like you. So if I run it, it is stopping. So now if I do a file handler, I am asking what all things I can do with this file handler. So I can read the entire lines or read entire thing. F dot read I will do. Basically if I do a read, oh, now it is saying it's not a proper GZip file. So what could be the reason? Sometimes what happens if that file was already opened, so it can be a reason for it. Let me check that first, that file. Maybe sometimes when you're working on a file, the file should not be opened. So if I comment this and remove it, and if I run it again, so Python a so and so, but still the same. Not sure what is. Let me remove that file. So test.zip file. So rm means to delete a file. If I say ls, it's not there. So clear again and running it. Again the same problem. It is trying to decrypt and trying to retrieve the data. So why retrieving the data is such an issue? So the same thing I did, whatever I have as it is. So oh, it worked now. Maybe some typo somewhere I missed. Sure. So I initially have a gzip file. So the same thing, I didn't do anything extra. So gzip file dot open. Oh, earlier I did a just open, right? Yeah. Could be that's the reason. I need to do a gzip dot open. You remember when you did a decryption, I did like a ordinary open. That's why I got an issue. That's the reason. So I should do the gzip dot open. In the same fashion, so we can go for some other data. Let's say, if you see in this example, I am taking like open of ordinary zen.file. I am taking an ordinary file, reading the data and converting to byte arrays and converting to this file and writing. Means if you have an ordinary direct string, you can convert. Or if you have something else, we can read that file and we can pass that to a file. So this is the second way. So when you're decrypting also in the same way, ordinary file read it and pass to it and you read the data. So like that you have. In the same fashion, if you have some data, in the third use case is like this. So whenever you have some file, So first we are writing it and you are adding some data and you are saving. So using gzip.z file, you are directly giving the parse. Means there are three options for this. So either you can go, if you have a direct string, you can pass to it and you can create a file. Or if it is any other file format, first read it and pass that to it and create it. Or you can do gzip.z direct file and you can do. So all these three ways, you can create a gzip file. In the same fashion, so for the same gzip file, to further work on this gunzip, we have other things also. Say, you see here, I have read an input file. So basically, it's not a good practice to have like an input because input is a built-in function. Say like, input file handler something. I write it. So it's easy. So input file handler dot close. Ordinary file I am reading and I'm reading the content, I am closing it. So similarly, gzip I opened, wrote the content and closed it. Similarly, in the decryption also the same thing. So I didn't notice much difference. So for like gzip to open, fine. This is like for the gzip. Similarly, for the tar files also we can work. So tar files is also same way because this file format, if I say the tar files, yeah, the tar files when you are working. So the structure is like, first we need to have some files. That local files it will take and it will zip. So maybe like this time I'm taking some use case where I have like, files. So in that files, I am taking some, so file1.txt, say file2.txt, say like file3.txt. So you see here. So if I say like for everything, maybe like I will write this is the first line. This is first line. Maybe in the second one, I will write this. This is second line. And in the third one, I will write this is third line. So like that, I have three files. Now in this tar file, I need to zip them. So if I navigate back tar files, if I clear the screen and if I do a ls, you can see my main file and in this file folder I have. If I do a tree, you can notice that. So I have a folder, in that folder I have three files. Now, if I need to work on this tar file, so first I need to import the tar file. So I imported the tar file. If I say print tar file dir, tar file also will have a good number of attributes. Primarily, the main job is like to zip and unzip. If I have some files, I need to zip them. So see here, a lot of options are there. Gunzip is for like compressing. Mainly Gunzip, previously we seen, right? We use whenever you are transferring data from, web server to down, or like for anything, if you want to pass, we use it. But like a tar file is for like zipping files. If we have some files, we can zip it. So first we need to get the files and read the data and you can pass it. How to get that files? So maybe like I have these three files, right? So which are files I have? So in the current directory, if I do like OS, import OS, not in the current directory, but I have a folders directory. In that files directory only, I have it. You see, files directory, I have three files. Now, so OS dot list dir, if I do a list dir, it will give the list of current directory, right? If I execute also, you will see current directory. No, I want like in the files folder, the list dir. Now, if you see in the files folder, there are three files. Now I will take those three files and pass to it. So for each file in this one, I want to work. So maybe like, file name in this. So print the file name. If you see now, I am getting the file names. So I am for any file, I can ask whether it is a tar file or not. So I can ask like, apart from this, hey, are you a tar file? Tar file dot is tar file, I can ask. it will tell whether it is a tar file or not. It is saying that, hey, I didn't notice a file called as this one because it is not in the current directory. So whenever you are creating a file, the entire file path you need to generate. Only the file name you got. So os.path.join of current directory, os dot. So get current working directory and their file name. So both we need to join and create the file path. Okay. So this file path entirely you got, right? So that file path you can pass to this. Now if you see in this case, clear. So you got a relative file. What is saying? No such file. I couldn't get a file in this directory. So means that's where we need to research. So to make it easy for you for time being, I will make these files in the current directory. So we can do that also, but like just make it in the current directory. See, all files will be in the local directory now. If I do ls, you can see all files here. So to make it easy for you, I am passing. So maybe like I will take the list of files, all these files and ask, hey, is it in the current directory or not? Like that. So os.list of files. If I don't give anything, it will say all the files in the current directory. So I'm asking directly the file name. So file name and file path, clear. You see? So still it is saying, okay. So where the files came, I didn't understand. No such directory files. I think previous example is executing. So tar files. Again, the same thing, it is going to the files. So no such is a directory. Okay. So it is saying that it is a directory. It is not an ordinary file. So then what I will do like a try exception. If it is a file only you want to take. So if os.path dot is dir name of so something. So I want to check that and do it. So with a try exceptions, except I think like 1 second. So coming back. So first, if you want to create a tar file, the tar file need to be created. For that, we need to first create the files. Hope you remember. So we created these files here in this folder and it. Instead of we creating these folders and writing this text, so we can automate this process by simply writing this. Let me remove these files, delete them. How do you create a file? Typically, if you want to create a file, so there are two types. Zip file means gzip dot so and so, but direct open means ordinary files. If you want to create a file, this is how you create it. But if you want to add the file content, so we need to say like with open as file handler, and we need to do like so file handler dot write of what are the text we want. So this process I'm making it very simple by just writing like this, that as my job is to write only once. So instead of writing in this way, I'm writing like this. The same creation of files made it much more easy. So here the context, I am not using file handler for anything else. It's a very raw way. So never do like this, but it is a way of doing. If I do like this also, it will work. If you see in the current directory, nothing is there. But if I navigate to this directory and run this, if I go, so ls ori15 python a and so. Did you see that these files were created in the current directory? But I don't want to create these files directly in the current directory. I want to get them created in a folder such that it would be easy to do. So for that, what I am doing, using the OS module, I am creating something. See here, I am doing os.makeDirs. Means I'm creating a folder called as files. If that is not there, then you create. If it is created, just ignore. And next I am doing is change directory. Means of everywhere placing that path, It's a simple way, right? Changing to the directory. So if I do like that, now if I execute the same code again, a new folder is created. In that these files were generated, and each file has what is this? This is the first line, this is third line, this is second line, like that. So that is how smart we do. So this is automation. In this way only we do. Now I need to create one tar file. So for that I need to do like this. So how we do with a ordinary file creation, like even a GZip also, like the tar file dot open. The syntax is same as any to create mode is equal to write. And after that, what all things I need to do? Till now, if you open a file, we add content, but this is a tar file. So if you open, you need to add the files to it. I have the file1.txt, file2.txt, like that. I didn't give the third one, but I'm just executing. Now, if you see, it will create a tar file containing these two. If you click on it, we cannot see it because not every file we can see, right, in a text editor. So this is how. And similarly, if you want to now add a new file to it, same like how you do. If I do in a write mode again, everything will be vanished. Rather, if I do an append mode, the same thing will be opened and you can add one more. So if I execute again, see, it will modify the existing tar. So like that, we can add the existing files and do. Now, if you say, if you want to remove these files, so the existing files, if there are any, if you want to remove them. So outside files are there what? File 1, file 2, file 3. So using os command, os.remove, we can remove the files, right? If I execute. So did you see? Other files were removed. So this is how I'm doing a file operations. Now, after this doing, now I need to extract this tar file. If I need to extract this tar file, so I need to go like this. I have an existing tar file, so I need to extract it. So for that I can go. So extract tar file dot py. So again I will do like import os, import tar file. Now when I want to extract, I will do like this. And we have this structure, right? We are doing all operations in this directory. So just to make it easy, I am writing that. Now what I am doing here, if you observe carefully, so okay, I am doing like this. With open off I wrote, and I wrote a couple of functions. Observe carefully. And I'm doing like a safe extract. This is most important. Whenever you are extracting, so we need to do a safe extract. So what is this concept of safe extracting, sir? Means whenever you're working, say like I'll place this outside also or like inside also. You see, I have these two functions I wrote within the context. So these two functions I am doing like a safe extract. It will go first to the safe extract and do it. It will go for each of the file and check it. Because what is this concept of safe extract means? If the files are having any corrupted information, or if the file is having some other malicious information, if you execute that, it can create a injection attack. So to avoid that kind of things, so what we can do like a safe extract, it will check each of the file and check whether it is anything. If it is not like correctly, so then it will throw an error. If not, it will do an extract all values. So that for that is it with directory only, I wrote a big logic here. So to check and get it. So it is like a safety extraction. So instead of you doing like this, now in the latest version, they did like a safety also they added. So, but this is like the older version. So Python p so and so, if I execute, it will extract those files in the current directory. Now, did you see? So using tar file, we can do direct extract also. If I go for tar file, so tar, yeah, this is the tar. So I can ask for the extract all. Directly also we can do, but I am doing like a safety check, whether all are part of this directory or not, everything. So then I am getting these values. This is how I extract the existing files from the tar file. Next, so not only that, when you are reading these files, I can get the metadata out of it. So, um, so read tar file content, metadata. Metadata, this is what you will learn from now onwards. Metadata means for every file there will be some information, like when it was created, when it was last modified, all those information. If you want that, you can go with it. Say like I am taking 3 files. So file.txt, so tar.file or some so. Are there in this directory all these files? So all these files are not there. There is something like a sum.txt. It is not there. So that's why if there is an IO error, I'm handling it. If not, I'm checking it. So if the file is present, I'm checking is it a tar file? If it is tar file, then only I'm going inside. And in the tar file, what are all files are there? So means what all files it zipped. That files and each of the files size, modification time, everything we can get. So clear. Python. So see reading that file. If you see carefully, you will understand. So it is saying that files in the tar file. In the tar file, we have 3 files, right? We don't have something like sum.txt. So it has. And each file, whatever it has, when it was last modified, what is the mode, what is the type, and how much content it has. That information you got. This is the metadata about that file. So like that, we can get the file information. So lastly, if you want to create a zip file, so zip file also same thing in the same structure. So first, so create zip file.py. If you want to create a zip file, first we need to work on the zip module. So here we have import zip file. So if I go for a dir of zip file, you can see a list of attributes it has. C zip file, clear, Python, a so and so. You see, zip is like very big enough. It has a lot of other options also. So, but like I will not make it too much complicated. So try to make it as easy. Basically, now the approach is that you have a temp directory. In the temp directory, what are all files are there? I want to zip it. This is one of the automation project. Or sometimes you will take a desktop background. You have a desktop. That desktop you want to take a background. So all those things you can do. Say like you want to know where is the temp file. So the temp folder, if you want to understand, using import OS. OS has different environments. If I go that os.environ, so you will get a list of all attributes. In fact, os.environment of it. See, zip file, I'm not making it complicated. So first, I want to create a set of files I want to add to it. That's the main point. But earlier, I did everything manually, right? See, I created the file and added the content. Those files are zipped. Now I want to modify a simple. What I'm doing, instead of I creating the files, I go to the environment variables and get to the temp folder. And in temp folder, what are all files are there, I want to get it. So see here, Python. So yes, also. You see, I have a lot of environment variables. If you observe, every system will have environment variables that we need to understand. If you want to see, there is dot keys. It's very easy for you to understand if I give the keys. It's like a kind of a dictionary only. So if I ask keys, you will see the keys. So in Windows also you will have it, Linux also you will have. Primarily you have something called as temp or TMP. So environment variables dot T. So if something is starting with T, so you'll have like TMP something. So I think like it became very humongous. Oh, this one it is giving. Oh, I think it didn't even give. Okay, dot keys. So let me clear it. Clear and so and so. Yes. Now it's clear. Now, did you see that it is having some environment variables? It's very difficult to see like this. If I do like from pprint, so import pprint. This time I want in a sorted order only. So that's why I have gone for pprint. So instead of pp, so two p's only. If I clear and execute again, So you got a list of things. So maybe like I'll go something like this. Dict of os dot environ. So this will give the entire things clearly. Yeah, see, now it's very easy for us to understand. So where is the all directories? So seems like this is a environment. You don't have a temp folder also. So why did all these things? I don't know. So maybe like I will go one level above just to get. So what are all files I have? I need to zip it. So you take any path. So in this temp is not there. Basically, in any operating system, there will be temp, TMP or TMP. So unfortunately, this is a this that way don't have it. But I am taking something else. So, but if you have a OS environment or something, you can just do it. So I wrote a small program. Just have a look at it. It would be giving you an idea to you. So I want to do in the downloads folder, what are all files are there? I want to take a backup. So I took that file and I am creating a content.zip. So using zip file I created. See, using zip file capital Z. So like that they have given. So I am doing a os.walk first of all. os.walk in this downloads directory and getting each of the file. So each of the file I'm giving the entire path, absolute path, and that I am writing to this file. So like that I can create a backup of downloads like this. If you have some other directory, you can give it. I hope that it will not have this os.user profile. So if it is there, it will come. So I don't think it will work because we don't have a download, right? So it is saying user profile is not there. In Windows, we have this one. It works perfectly. In the same fashion, you take any of the files and if you want to extract it. So for that, so maybe like I want to write one more file, p create zip file.py. If I go here, you see, if I want to create a zip file, first of all, here also same fashion, open that file and in the zip file, you get that file handler and write like write mode. You give any custom compression. So when you are zipping, you can give like different kinds of zipping formats also. So, and I created a file handler. Observe, this is the main file open handler. This is a zipping handler. For the zipping handler, we need to write. So what I'm doing, write string. So of this one, observe, this is very interesting. It will only create the file. And in that, what all content you to have means file creation and content creation both at one shot. So you see here in the fourth, I am doing like this and 5. Now observe carefully Python b so and so. In the current directory, did you see a new file called as temp1.zip was created? Of course, we cannot see that, but this is how it creates. So if you want to extract the files of it, in the same fashion, you need to unzip and get the files. So I think you can do that unzipping. So as an assignment, so give a try of how to unzip the files. Or else I can give you the example. So you can try on your own. So how it works. So if you have a zip file, so I can do like unzip. So see, um, unzipping means reading zip file dot .py. So or this concept is called as unzipping. Zipping, unzipping. So there are two things. So to unzip the things, first we need to pass. Maybe like I will create a folder. So where it can take it. It will take the zip file and the directory. So where the output should be there. So like that. So I create like a function called like this. For this I need to give. In the current directory only I have this one, right? I will copy this zip file. So zip file I want in the current directory only. I give a dot. Now I wrote a function clear Python say C so and so. Now did you see all files came like this? If I don't want this kind of mess, so I need to give a directory. So this time, instead of in the current directory, I need to create something like a files. First of all, file should be present, right? If it is not there, so it will create. You see here. Now, Observe carefully in the previous example, how you created this one, the entire files creation and the content creation, everything in one shot. Now, don't you see whatever you have written is exactly like this? The CSV files you have. So CSV file convert to CSV. And similarly, you have the other files. Sometimes you did, for the last two, you didn't write a file extension. So it came as it is. So like that, we can work on the zip files. This is all about it. Next, after the zip files, we have another thing called as PDF files. In PDF also, we have something. I think like best, first I will go for the config files, then we'll go for the PDF. 05 config files, configuration files or config files. So there are two types of configuration files commonly used called as CFG files. Generally, if you are aware of Linux environment, mostly you will see CFG files. So nowadays people are going for YAMLs like this, but earlier Linux environment means CFG files only for configuration. And similarly, Windows came with something called as INI file. If you see the structure, it will be like almost same. So just because they gave, it is like that. Let me give one example. For the configuration file, you will get memorized certain things. Hope you remember the toml file. The toml file was inspired by these things only. So there will be some sections. Under the sections, you need to have key is equal to value. You need to give around equal to one space. That's it. And funny thing is like you can create a new variables, derived variables based upon the existing variables. If I say bar and bars are there, I can create a foo which is created from it dynamically. So like that we can create. So if you want to create this configuration file, so first to create it, we can go with there is something. This is what you need to understand. In Python 2, some modules they changed in Python 3. So that's why in Python 2 it is called as config parser with P capital. In Python 3 they changed it to config parser. So though you don't work with Python 2, I'm just telling us that anytime when you get it's easy. So earlier people used to do this kind of way, like to avoid. So that's a best practice. If there is a 2 and 3 conversion, so they used to do like this. So instead of that, you can just go to this config parser. Using config parser, what we can do? If I do print dir of this config parser, so lately 05 uh, here Python so and so. Did you see it has a good number of attributes? So this is also a big module. Now, first, if you want to create a config parser, did you see the config parsers also? There are different config parsers. If you observe, raw config parser, safe config parser. So this is all different things came. So first, if I go for the raw config parser, so maybe like I will write config is equal to config parser dot so raw config parser I created. So like this, if I create for this config, I need to add anything. So I can add one section, and for that section, I can add the values. Observe whatever I see in this example, right? Like that I wrote. For everything, we need to write a section. Under that, what values you want. You see, I wrote a section, under that some values. So I'm mentioning that in which section it should be going. Maybe like, so now if I want to create the file, same like an ordinary file, you create this with open of CFG in a write mode and just write this config file. So which config file? So this config data is there that I'm passing to it. Okay, it is saying like you didn't specify the encoding format. So because these days are saying it's a good practice to add UTF-8 error. So now it will not show fine. Now if I do like run it again, did you see it's not created? And example.cfg, just now we saw that config file, right? It was created like that only. Now, if I want to modify this config further, so I can do that. So instead of one section, if I want to make it into multiple sections, I can do that. say like I will add one more section. Say like I write like this, section 2. So, it's a best practice to write each section separately like this. If I do like a section 2. Now, if you see the same example, it will be overwriting. Because I wrote in a write mode, it will do. Now, did you see there were two sections, section 1 and section 2? It created like that. So that is how it works. Next, after creating these sections, if I need to further parse, means like read the content. So this is where it is important. Basically, you don't create the config file like this. Very seldom people create a config file on the fly. So mostly config file is for like constants. Let's say in your program, there are some constants. All those constants you want to write somewhere. So for every project, there will be certain constants. How many people are working, what languages they are working, how many containers we want, how many ETL jobs we have. So that kind of things, if you want, you can do. So basically to work on it, so import config parser dot, so raw config parser. There is something like a raw config parser and safe config parser. So config parser is equal to so and config dot read off. In the current directory, we have example.cfg. I gave it. Now it read the config file. So means will it print anything? So if I try to ask, so print the config. If you clear the screen and Python is so and so. Did you see that it's a config parser object, but you don't get the values? How to get the values, sir? So if I do like a dir, so print of dir of this config. What are the config object I created? It has some values. Did you observe carefully that ignore the Boolean states and others? You have these things. So get value, convert to Boolean, get values, and all these things are there. Get Boolean, get float, so and so. Now I can ask like this. In each section, I can give the value and ask. So means like see here. So in this config file, I have like this integer, float, Boolean. If I want to get that in that section, I can ask like this. Now you see config.getFloat of section 1, this float means I should know what data type it is such that I can safely get it. Similarly, in section 1, there is an int. Int is the key name. So value I will get. Then what happens when it is reading, it will read like an integer. In other case, it will read like a string. So means like see here, whenever it is reading, they will read them in that particular way. If you ask their data types, you will understand that. So f of type of a underscore float. So a underscore float and value. So a underscore float. You see? So similarly, if I do the same thing here. So similarly for the integer, hey, what is that integer? Shit. An integer. Here also an integer. And now I'm adding them. So if I ignore these two, comment it, so you will understand. Did you see? The first one is a float, second one is an integer. But we should know what exactly it is. Then we can get it. And if you want like a Boolean value, so we can get that also. Maybe like I'll go an empty print and ask. In section 1, there is a bool. So in section 1, is there a bool? Yes. If you want the Boolean value, you can read like that. So it is saying get Boolean of this one. If it is a Boolean is there, then you get it. Means what? It will get a Boolean value. Get Boolean means true or false. If that is true, you want to get the foo value. So that's what I'm trying to say. So then it will give. So then it is throwing an error. The reason being, did you remember? Now I change it, right? The foo is not part of section 1 anymore. Foo is part of section 2. Now that I need to write. So in section 2, I want to get the foo. So if I clear and if I ask, did you notice now? So from this section, it gave one, that section, it gave the other one. So like that, you read any config files. Basically, config files are designed for reading only. In your project, you will have one config file or like set of config files for different environments, and you read the content from it. If you see in this example, again, you are reading the same file, you are getting like from section 1 for this queue like this. So the point is like whenever you don't have a value, you will get the default value. So that's what you are mentioning here specifically. So lastly, so if you want to remove certain options or if you want to add also, you can do for this config file. Say in this example, see here. So I did like a config file like another thing. So it's not needed in fact anymore. Yeah. So I can take the config file dot config parser off. I gave one a dictionary. This dictionary I am doing. So how I'm doing, see here, it is converting and it is creating like a sections. So reading. So this dictionary will also be part of it. And this config file is also there. Means if you want to override certain variables which are present, did you see in your config file also you have bar and others? So like that it can be helpful. So lastly, you have the init file. So which was created by Microsoft. Microsoft init file also works very perfectly, but it has much more better features. So compared to this. So, but general convention is whenever you work in Windows, you work with the INA file. Whenever you work in Linux, you work with this file. So the simple example to show is like if I go over like a simple .ini file. So the file will be like this. So did you see any difference between the config file and INA file? No. In fact, there is no official way that everyone says, but that is the general norm every developers will follow. So even like if you have multiple sections also, it would work in the same way. So if I have like multiple sections, see multiple sections also same way, like that. Now assignment is like just you go through this and try to do using this config file. Try to read. So if you have any doubts, come back in the next